All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking with me. My name is Ninja Chris, and this is yet another Ninja Chris casts. We're in the middle of our second game of 3 for the day that I'm going to be casting for you all, so thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. Always glad to have you guys around. If you want to go ahead and actually let me know what you think of this casting, I would have really appreciated it. Let me know in Twitch. I do have the chat running right next to... Oh my gosh, I just heard Meepo. Oh man, this is already going to be a fun game. Either way, this is only our second game of the day. The third one is actually going to be from AD2L. So it's going to be a little bit more professional than some of these pubs, even though this one's an all-pick setup. So looking forward to that. We're going to go ahead and switch over to the game real quick and have some fun in there. Ultimately, like I was saying, if you like my work, I would love it if you would follow me. I'm going to be casting more so on the weekends, if not the weekdays. Trying to cast as much as I can, especially now that the International 4 is over, which I do hope you all enjoyed. I was present at the tournament to go and watch that and have some fun, and it could have been better, but it was definitely all right. I'm definitely glad I went. Either way, stick with me, have some fun. Let me know what you think. Post over here, send me a message here, or let me know over on Reddit. So, back into the game. Let's check out everybody on the teams and see what we're working with today. Over on the Radiant, not the Reddit. On Radiant, we have Nate playing the Ricky, Pudge in the middle lane as Mr. Star, Slark in the bottom lane as Super Bear Tyson, Meepo as Lord of the TV, and Zeus as Wretched J. Over on the Dire side, we have a Viper as Guile RC, Drow Ranger in the top lane is Rusty. In the bottom lane, we actually have Peachulator as Wind Ranger and Timbersaw as Duff. And finally, the Ancient Apparition as Intestinos. Rushing a Headdress, strangely enough. And I don't really see any other wards coming up on the Dire side. We do not. They haven't even placed any, so nobody any purchased any. Likewise, on the Radiant, we don't even have any... We don't have any real support. Such a greedy all-pick lineup. Best I can think of is a Meepo support. But it did appear like he was making jokes earlier, so I don't think even the Meepo wants to run support. Strangely enough. Either way, absolutely no wards whatsoever played on the map. I think we should be happy we even have a courier. We don't even have a courier on the Dire side. What is this? It is what it is, I guess. We do have a long game ahead of us. I do believe this one said it was going to be an 80-minute long match. So, pull up a chair, grab some pancakes, enjoy the game, and I'll do all the work, huh? Up in the top lane, we already have some nice little aggression coming up against the Zeus. Forced to pop a very early... Actually, no, I take that back. The Meepo actually applying the salve onto a Zeus who stupidly goes and gets it popped. Poorly done. Pudge getting points in his hooks, wanting to pull this Viper as best as he can in under the tower. Doesn't appear like it's going to happen, though. Back in the bottom lane, we actually have some further aggression coming back up on the Dire. Timbersaw and the Wind Ranger continue to push in. And Meepo disconnects. We'll see. Hopefully he does return to the lane rather quickly. But this very well could be a first blood attempt if the Radiant were gutsy enough to push in against it. Ultimately, not a whole lot else going on, especially with no rune coverage. We'll see if I can make it through this game without any extra caffeine, which is already not a smart idea, but it is what it is. Do have some nice little tangos being passed over by the Meepo, and the Zeus just not understanding the point of these tangos. Eat something. You're starved right now. Get back into the lane. Get some gold out of this. And the Pudge just being consistently harassed by this nice little Viper, doing a brilliant job. Let's take a look at the last hits and denies. Ultimately, this is exactly what is slowing down the Pudge. He was a level down, even though he's gotten two right clicks over the Viper, just because of the 2 denies that he's been pulling off. So, great little setup coming on that side of on the middle lane. Likewise, nobody really doing a job. Nobody's playing a support on the Dire side, or the Radiant side. Actually, the Zeus is potentially going to get picked off. That was too close. The Riki continuing to be harassed by the Windrunner as well, who might even do a power shot, but not going to pull it off after all. Great little harassment coming in. Nonetheless, the Zeus, I don't know what to tell you. He hasn't been playing his lane very well. Not like the top lane is actually something that they want, that Zeus would want in the first place. Too many mids. And the Pudge continuing to biff absolutely everything that he's got with the meat hooks. Picking all the creeps. Nothing special whatsoever. He does have a bottle, though, and he is going to get very lucky and find a beautiful little DD rune. So we actually have the back in the middle lane. It might be, I'm not going to say, I think this is going to be the first tower taken out right here. Drow pushing it back, the nice little Meepo, silencing him as well. So not a bad startup. And even getting his early level 3, getting that Meepo back at home just in case he needs to go home. Nonetheless, that's going to be very difficult to have to deal with, trying to get home, especially with the Drow Ranger. All she has to do is silence him. And taking a lot of tower damage.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Out of it, so at least the tower chooses to smartly move back against them. Drow continuing to pick against this Zeus. They're only one level up, strangely enough. I kind of figured it would have been a 2-level advantage, to be honest with you. But no such luck for the Dire. And the Pudge actually gets the Viper, getting a nice little hook, and in fact does get him in. So I'm sorry I missed that, but well played hook. I just didn't expect it from the middle lane. Nonetheless, back in the bottom lane, we do have a tri-lane coming down here, especially with one of the Meepos, and the Riki and the Slark continuing to push back in against this. Hopefully, I don't know what to tell you. They do all have a little bit of low health, and they're completely pushed under the tower, so no real XP, or excuse me, no real gold for them just yet. Meepo choosing to continue down to the bottom lane and actually help pushing it against them. He's got nets, points and nets, and we'll see what actually wants to happen. The Pudge. Here we go. There goes some further aggression. That's going to be a blown-up Windrunner who is forced to pull out of the lane. Pudge.
Under attack.
He threw a hook, but I don't think it actually caught anybody. Viper TPing into the bottom lane, and he's going to continue picking on the Meepo. This is one dead Meepo. Not before the Pudge actually has something to say about it. Popping an ultimate, slowing everybody down. That's actually going to be a Riki kill on top of the Timbersaw. Not before the Viper is going to get the kill on top of the Slark. And this might just be a 2-for-1. It is! Pudge is going to get the kill on top of the Viper. Up in the top lane. Nothing whatsoever on second thought. Oh boy, how anticlimactic was that?
Top tower is under attack.
Riki doing a great little job, jumping to an enemy, getting out of the way of that Drow. So nice little aggression rotation coming out from the Radiant side. Gets them a 2-for-1 in the bottom lane. Oh, playing without coffee is not a good idea. Meepo's going to go ahead and start farming up in the jungle in the bottom lane. Let's see if he actually... He does appear to be going for some Tranquil Boots, which are always a great starting item for the Meepos. Unless they choose to rush the Power Treads, which are a bit more standard, but that tends to be more of a fighting lineup. So we'll see what happens. I would think it's going to be the Tranquil. They have been a little hot lately. I got to say, when I play Meepo myself, that tends to be exactly what happens. Zeus continued to pick on the Sandra Apparition, but not before he has something to say about it himself. We'll even see if he wants to throw an ultimate out on top of him. It doesn't appear to be. Nonetheless, the Pudge actually coming back up into the lane. This will be a very dead Ancient Apparition. Getting the hook on top of him. Ever so close. Brilliant job, Pudge. Getting that kill. And likewise, the Drow actually wanting to see if they can get a kill on top of the Zeus. We will see what happens. Testing her luck. Doesn't see him. And now it becomes visible, silencing out the Zeus, getting some picks on top of him. It's not going to be a kill. Viper back in the bottom lane, getting the kill on top of one of the Meepos. It's even going to be on top of a Riki as well. Getting double kill. Here comes the AA ultimate. Going to catch on top of the Slark, but I don't know if that's going to be a kill. The Timbersaw could have secured that kill by pulling it into the lane. Sorry, Slark, but that's actually not going to help. Okay, excuse me. Chose to do it after the AA ultimate. And Meepo rotating back into the lane, and it's going to be a very dead Timbersaw, diving way too far. Not a smart play. AA is going to catch out the Slark. Very brilliant play coming in from the Dire, as the Pudge is going to potentially suicide himself out of the lane. Not before he gets the kill on the Ancient Apparition. Oh, what a brilliant play as the Viper goes in and finishes off the power treads. Meepo going to go ahead and keep on picking on the creep camps. Back up in the top lane. We don't really have a whole lot else going on. Drow Ranger picking on the top lane. And just continue to fight. Very strange plays coming back in. We haven't even seen... That was not English. Meepo missing the nets. That was way too close. You got 2 points in it, and likewise, well-deserved Ancient Apparition ult right on top of that. Zeus dying to the Dire. Not entirely sure how. Oh, getting picked off by the tower. Strange... Gosh, very awkward plays coming in. I'm going to double check my stream, make sure real quick. Make sure that I'm actually... Okay. I did have a bad situation one time where my entire stream was muted, so I needed to make sure that the sound was actually coming in. And that's going to be one dead Riki. He doesn't even have level 6 just yet. Nonetheless, Pudge getting the pick on top of the Viper. That's going to be picked off by the Pudge as the Meepo even gets killed by returning on top of the Viper. And that's going to be one very dead Pudge. Waiting to see the Timbersaw or the Ancient Apparition. Meepo saving his life, but that's waiting for the last hit. I don't know what to tell you guys. This has been the strange little run all over the place. There we go. Finally, Ancient Apparition getting the kill on top of the Pudge. And even further denying extra items coming to the side of the Radiant. The Slark and the Meepo trying to do work on top of the Dire, but being forced back out. Slark jumping out of the lane as quickly as possible. Timbersaw even finishing off some nice little mana boots. And the rest of the aggression coming back into the Dire, the Radiant bottom lane. Meepo jumping right out of the fight as quickly as he can. Doing a great job of that. Slark getting picked on by the Drow Ranger. I don't think it's going to be a kill, but it's absolutely going to harass him right back out of lane. Pudge getting the hook on top of the Viper. Very smart pickup on them. And that's going to continue to snowball the Radiant side. Let's take a look at the graph real quick. We're at near 2,000 at gold on the side of the... as well as about 750 on the XP on the side of the Radiant. So very strange setup. And that's going to be one dead... Oh, he gets the suicide off just in time. This is very unfortunate for the side of the Dire. They need to get these kills. They need to kill off that Pudge as best as they can. And the suicides are just not helping anybody. Whiffed nets are not going to help the matter. As the Meepos continue to press against this Timbersaw, Air AA Ultimate is going to finish off the Meepos. As the Dire just continue to push in, they've got 3 kills on them, and that'll be a destroyed tier 1 bottom lane. All the while, the middle lane is actually continuing to get pushed in as well, which is great for the Dire side. They're up 4 kills, even though they've missed a couple of kills due to the Zeus committing suicide to the tower up here in the top lane earlier, as well as 2 deaths I count from the Pudge suiciding themselves. And we do even have a Okay, it was the Meepo returning to the lane, potentially going to net on top of absolutely nothing. He's going to catch the Viper, but not what was intended. Slark returning back up to close to full health. Meepo teleporting right back home. Pudge might even get a hook on top of this, choosing not to do so. This would not be a favorable circumstance. 4-on-1 on him. And popping right just to potentially suicide himself right back out again. Not going to happen. Wind Ranger actually getting the kill. Zeus killing off the Drow Ranger as well. So 1-for-1 trade there. Still not what the Dire need. Meepo hooks coming in, as well as the Meepo hook, excuse me, Meepo nets coming back in. Slark is not going to get out of this fight. I knew I should have picked up coffee. Can't focus at all right now. Dire continuing to push in the lane. And nothing really else important coming back in. Viper choosing to go up to the top lane, help out against this Zeus. Maybe even choose to get a kill on top of this. AA Ultimate starting off the fight. Really not going to do a whole lot of good otherwise. Only doing about 10 points of damage every hit. And Bottle actually choosing to be popped on top of the Zeus, keeping him into the lane, but that's not a smart move. Viper actually catching him out of position, and this will be very one dead Zeus. Nonetheless, the Pudge is actually going to get the kill on top of him in return. So a 1-for-1 kill, but if this AA is not careful, this Pudge will get in very easy second kill. Not sure why he's continuing to pick on him. The Pudge could have easily picked off that Ancient Apparition in return. But maybe choosing to return, get out of the lane just while he doesn't have an ultimate up. I love that Slark setup. That's fun to check out. Nonetheless, we do have the Timbersaw returning to the middle lane. I'm going to pick on this Slark ever so slightly. The slow is coming in, but not effective enough as the Meepos are going to get the nice little illusion runes. So, we're up to 4 potentially Meepos. Oh, boy.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
While we have a down moment, I'm just going to go ahead and actually Pudge getting the kill on top of the Ancient Apparition. So, very smart play. But, otherwise, while we actually take that back again, we have the rest of the Dire ready to pick off the rest of this Pudge. Silencing and pushing back the Pudge. And that he's going to go down this time. No suicide attempt there.
Yep, you're dead.
As no deny from the Pudge. Everybody else just more than happy to reset. We do have the Pudge, who strangely enough went ahead and picked up the... Is it phase boots? Is that the term I'm looking for here? Phase boots. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing a horrible job with names and terminology today. But whatever. It is what it is. I'm up to 5 viewers. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me today. Glad to have you. Anyway, back up into the middle lane. We do continue to see further tower aggression coming up from the Dire lane. And especially with that first tier 1 dropping down here in the bottom lane, this is exactly what the Dire need to continue pushing their advantage in. While we have a minute, I'm going to go ahead and plug myself real quick. My name is Ninja Chris. This is Ninja Chris Casts. I mainly run cast games over on the Dota Cast It Lounge. This is going to be one very dead Zeus dropping down to the Viper. Feeding that who you do not want fed whatsoever. Either way, I would love it if you favorited me. Check out the... If you like what I'm doing, let me know over in the Twitch chat. I do have it up on the side right now. Love to hear your feedback. Otherwise, thank you for visiting me from over in the Reddit area. Unfortunately, it does appear that I've been hit by the downvote fairies. I would love to actually get some positive feedback from them over once. Otherwise, I'm continuing just to get all the downvotes in the world, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. It is Reddit.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Either way, A Ultimate actually doing some scouting, and it's going to pick out both the Ricky as well as the Slark, but really not get anything out of it. Zeus actually getting the kill on top of the Timbersaw, as well as the Drow Ranger picking off the Pudge. Sorry, I barely missed it. Nonetheless, the Meepo want to continue to fight. That is one missed Earthbind. And that's not doing a lot of work. Riki, strangely enough, actually picking up a Dagon. That's going to be a lot of fun to see pick up, as well as the Wind Ranger taking the hit. Oh boy, that's just not going to be any fun whatsoever to see, especially just because that's not the ultimate is not going to be removed temporarily because of it. Likewise, the Slark is continuing to get picked off. He has an ultimate, but he's going to pop it just at the last minute. I don't think it's going to do him too much of a good. He's going to pop his magic wand for it, but ultimately he's going to go ahead and get away. Very close shave there. Viper being slowed down, and the Riki's just not going to have enough mana to continue picking off. We have 5 on 3 down here in the bottom lane. And AA ultimate is actually not going to catch anybody whatsoever. Pudge Hook is actually going to catch. And the Timbersaw is going to drop down to the Riki. Further fights. We actually have all 5 on the Dire going to continue picking on top of this Drow Ranger. And she is going to drop very shortly. No! Pudge is going to catch one of the Meepos. Doesn't matter. She is going to drop. Riki getting the kill for that one. As a matter of fact, if the Dire are not careful, that Wind Ranger was potentially going to drop down as well. Once again, thanks for sticking around. Love to have you guys here on the cast or on the stream. If you have any games you want me to cast, I would love to cast them for you. Let me know. Either way, follow me, favorite me, stick around. Thanks for enjoying the day. Enjoying the day. We've got one more game after this one, and I promise you I will go get some more caffeine after all of this. Wind Ranger is actually going to be working on our Aghanim Scepter, which is going to be a lot of fun to see. And the Pudge being caught completely out of position, choosing to hook on top of the Windrunner, and she's going to be stunned in place. Great little kill on top of for the Pudge. The Timbersaw even getting the Zeus, so a 1-for-1 trade, not anymore, 2-for-1. Pudge getting a double kill out of that one. Viper not ready to let the situation drop, as he's going to continue getting picked on top by the Viper. Going to get the kill. And the Meepo's blowing up the Drow Ranger. It doesn't really matter too much in the long run. He is going to get the kill on the Drow Ranger, so 1-for-1 there. 4 dropping on each side. Very strange setup on both teams. I would love to see a little bit more coordination coming back in, but ultimately, if the Radiant is going to be if the Radiant is going to continue to spiral out of control, I really don't know what to tell you guys. Ultimately, I just don't know how the Dire are going to be able to come back out of this fight. Likewise, they are up about 3250 in gold, and the XP is just absolutely blowing up for the Radiant, mainly because they do have a Meepo. But we're about 33,000, it switched on me and threw my numbers off. We are up about 2,000 XP on the side of the Radiant, and that did help ever so slightly. But with the Meepo up to a level 11, let's take a look at the levels real quick. This is right about when the Meepo is going to begin taking off.
Double damage.
I am a little surprised to not see... they rushed the Vladimir. They didn't go for the back. They are very slowly working on the Aghanim Scepter. And... I don't know. I guess that we're just still waiting to see the Meepo take off. The Riki continuing to get kills. The Pudge getting an easy little pick on top of the Windrunner. And a 3-for-1 on the side of the Dire for the Radiant. This is not what they want out of this situation, as the rest of the Dire are desperately trying to run out of the way. Meepo is going to miss the net completely, and that's going to be one dead Viper going down to the Riki. 4 down for 1. The Timber wants to try and get the Riki. It's not going to happen. Slark getting the pick on top of that, pulling himself. Come on, camera, quit fighting me. And he's going to get himself onto the upper ground and out of this fight. Once again, thanks for sticking with me over from Reddit. Glad to have you. I'd love for you to stick around as long as you'd like. And if you have any games or any recommendations, let me know in Twitch here. And either way, just glad to have you around. Riki finishing off a level 2 Dagon, so continuing to just do nothing but harass and frustrate the Radiant side. Either way, we've only seen 3 towers drop in the 23 minutes. So
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Very interesting setup either way. The tier 2 is consistently being pressured on the bottom lane by the Dire side. Although we do have a big fight coming back into the middle lane. The Timbersaw continuing to push against the rest of the Radiant side. They want to see if they can get the Zeus, but it's just not going to happen. And likewise, the Pudge might even get the pick on top of this the Timbersaw. He's going to get the hook on top of him, and that is one dead Timbersaw. Actually, he goes down to the Slark after all, as the Pudge is continuing to be picked on by the Viper. And very well played, Viper. 1-for-1 kill, and absolutely going the side of the Dire. Meepo's not doing a very good job getting back into this fight, unfortunately.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I don't know what else he's got in... Does he even have any other items on top of this courier? Not that we see, anyway. I know there's a button I can press to check out. Anyway, we'll check that out later. Either way, the Meepos continue to get picked off by the Viper, and he's going to go down. 4 people getting the split of the gold, so nothing very big over there for the rest of the Dire, unfortunately. Nonetheless, at least the Viper's doing all the work, getting as much of the kills as he can. Let's take a look at that real quick, actually. I want to see who's gotten the majority of the kills. The Viper... oh my gosh, Chris. Pudge getting 11 of the kills, and Viper getting 12 of the kills. So each one doing their exact job and carrying. Unfortunately, the Dire continue to pick up, especially with the 2 towers down. I have to say the Dire are at massive advantage. The gold and XP, just the gold, I take it back, is continuing to show that. But the XP continuing to swing back down in the favor. They did have a swing of about 2,500 gold. So, I guess we'll just see what happens right now. I'm a little surprised neither one of the tier 1s have dropped down in the middle lane yet. But we'll see what happens. Meepo getting picked on by the Timbersaw, being forced back out of the lane. Slark even picking up a nice little Blink Dagger. This is potentially going to mean some great little fight coming in from the Radiant. See if they can get some kills, especially on that Drow. They desperately need to get Viper out of these fights if they want to have any possibility of getting out of the fights. Ricky getting caught out, strangely enough. We don't have any dust or gems or anything, but nonetheless, here goes the Drow. And the Ricky is going to get the kill on top of that. Ancient Apparition dropping as well, so 1-for-1 fight already. Timbersaw taking a lot of damage, but he's going to drop down to the Zeus as the Meepo drops down as well. Pudge going down as well. So 3 for 2 going down on the Dire side. Very well played, but the Zeus is going to drop as well. Very great job on the side of the Dire. The Slark taking a lot of damage. Boy, I need some caffeine. Viper going down. We have a 5-man wipe going down on the side of the Radiant, and this is the Dire's opportunity to take the first tier 1 in the mid.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Great job there, and they even have more than enough time. It's not like the Ricky can really continue to pressure in. So they're not going to get the tier 2 out of this, but at least they can continue to pressure back in. Radiant just continuing to be starved. The Meepo's not really able to take off. The only reason the Pudge has continued to be able to take off is because he's gotten so many kills.
Is under attack.
And that's not really going to be a big deal for the tower in the top lane. Far more important to actually see this tier 2 being pressed in the middle lane. Ricky continued to press the issue against the Ancient Apparition back in the middle lane. The rest of the Dire nowhere near, not choosing to help out. Drow Ranger there to help his buddy out. And ultimately, not a whole lot else going on. Slark returning to the middle lane. So we do have a big old rumble in the Bronx here in the middle lane. Meepo is still just nowhere near finishing off his Aghanim Scepter. Excuse me. I apologize for the pauses. I keep feeling like I need a belch, and I don't want to do that on the stream. So, Ancient Apparition finally picking up an Aghanim's 27 minutes into the game. As the rest of the Dire are desperately hoping to hold on to this middle tier 1. Back up in the middle fight. We actually have the Meepo dropping down to the Viper as well as potentially the Ricky second. He's going to drop down. Viper does drop, but not before the damage has been done. The rest of the Dire continuing to fight on top of... Zeus is actually going to get the kills that the Pudge helps start. So 2 for 2. Very strange, awkward fights coming in. And ultimately not a whole lot else. Pudge continuing to look for picks as best as he can. Not going to get them, though. Going to whiff and pick up some extra creeps. And still just going to see a 3-on-3. Actually, they do want to see if they can hit the pick on top of the Pudge. They're not going to spot him. Pudge has max range hooks, and we do have some potential aggression coming on top of the Zeus. He desperately wants a kill on top of this. I don't understand why he's diving so far in. Meepo's going to help get the kill on top of this as well. So with the Slarks. Very dumb play coming in from the Ancient Apparition. And it's going to force 2 deaths on the side of the Dire. Ricky getting some extra use out of that level 3 Dagon now. Completely unsure why the Ancient Apparition chose to dive that issue. Pudge even picking up a 4-staff. It's a little surprised he didn't choose to go and finish up a Blink Dagger, but it is what it is. The rest of the Dire continuing to hold their ground here in the middle lane. I'll take a peek at the graphs. We're at 5,000 gold and about 1,000 XP difference right now for the Dire. The Drow Ranger continuing to take a lot of damage from that little... Oh, brilliant job there, Pudge, pulling out the Ricky, as well as the Viper's going to get the kill on top of the Zeus, but not before he goes down himself. Drow's going to get the Meepo. 2 for 1. It's a very strange fight, and it's not done yet. The Ricky continuing to take a lot of damage from the Timbersaw, and he's going to go down very shortly. No, he's not. He's actually going to get invisible and get out nice and safe. Actually, the Ricky might get this kill on top of the Drow Ranger. Not before the Timbersaw gets the kill before he goes invisible. He tries to get out of it as well. Pudge whiffing that hook. If he wasn't ever careful enough, that Slark would have been pulled right out of the fight too. Wind Ranger going to be stunned down for a little bit. Ultimately, it's not going to matter too much. Slark trying to get out of the fight. Drum of Endurance actually finished up on top of the Slark. Oh boy.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Just waiting for something else to happen to the game. I guess while we're waiting for something to actually pick up, I'm going to once again go ahead and plug myself. My name is Ninja Chris. I'm an amateur caster that I mainly run Dota 2 casted matches right now. Right now, otherwise, I'm running... I cast games for the eSpot Amateur rare Dota 2 Rare Challenge on occasion. But other than that, just kind of waiting to improve the quality of my cast. So if there's anything I could do to improve my quality, I would love to know what you guys think of it. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. I will continue to try and improve for you guys. So otherwise, thanks for sticking with me. I do appreciate it. Meepo finally about to finish off his Aghanim Scepter. Not before the Viper picks off the Ricky as well. The Pudge actually getting... Very sorry about the camera. The camera's having this problem. If you watch over where my arrow is right now, when I scroll down, it gets caught by the screen. It's not a very good setup system. Hopefully Valve will fix that soon.
Right or wrong.
2 for 2 dropping down in the middle lane. Zeus getting the kill on top of the Drow Ranger. Forcing an ultimate pop out of that. And the Meepo finally getting his 4th Meepo, is it now? He's got all of 5 now. So big change there all of a sudden. Pudge getting the kill on top of the Wind Ranger back in the middle lane. Not before the Timbersaw continuing to press the issue. Push him right back out of the lane. Take a look at the last hits. And we continue to see a sway back in the side of the Dire. It's been a little bit about a 5,000 swing close to the Radiant, But ultimately,
Dire's middle tower is
I
under
gotta say
attack.
that the Radiant are absolutely pushing the advantage right now. They're the ones looking for the towers, and if they're... Oh, come on, Ricky. Get the last hit on that tower, please. 20... There we go. Bam. There we go.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Very strange Ricky build. Obviously not choosing to fight. He's just going for cheese picks, which are never really fun to watch over.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Meepo's just 5-manning right now, not choosing to actually get the Blink Dagger and fully initiate and be a complete team fighter, but it is what it is. Either way, back up at the top lane, we actually might see a nice little pick-off coming on top of the Drow Ranger, depending on how the Pudge wants to play this. He fakes the hook. He's not going to get it, and Ricky's going to get the final hit on top of that. At least they got something out of it. Wind Ranger's going to get the Pudge, and very well played by the Wind Ranger. Pudge is out for 75 seconds. As the rest of the Dire is searching for they're not going to catch the Riki. The Viper pops the Shadow Blade, which is why they're not catching one another. And the Viper is going to go ahead and catch the Zeus out. Very fast kill, and if they're close, they might just get the Riki as well. Good try, but ultimately,
Dire's bottom tower is
Radiant,
under
the
attack.
Dire do get the better half of that. So right now, I would expect the Dire to... What would the Dire want to do in this situation? They continue just to want to get picks, but that Meepo, he's got such potential to just blow up in the late
Dire's
game.
bottom tower is
They
under
need to
attack.
spot him out. They need to get some kills on top of him. That's going to be some early gold, or not some gold, early, easy gold. Easy XP, just keeping him out of the fight as best as possible. They've already proven that with the Viper pick that they can actually
Radiant's
continue
top
to
tower
pressure on
has
top of the
fallen.
Slark. The Slark, the Pudge. The Pudge being the big powerhouse, and he just continues to melt at this point of the game. So I would say the Radiant absolutely have, the Dire have absolutely the late game advantage here. Even more so with the towers being continued to be pressured into the tier 3s. We'll see what happens though. Meepo's ready to fight. They whiff some nets, and they're not going to get them, and they're going to choose not to initiate on top of it. At least the Riki's doing some great work scouting him out, and they've got the dust dropped on top of him. He's going to go down very quickly, as the Viper actually is going to potentially be picked off first. Not before the Meepo drops. The Vipers, the Zeus is going to pop ultimate and get one kill out of it, and helping out the team get 3 total out of it. The Wind Ranger is going to continue to be blown up by the Slark. Pudge picking off the Drought Ranger. That's 4 for 1.
You'll look good with an apple in your mouth.
Slark going to go ahead and try and slow him down, hold him down in place, and that's going to be 1 dead Wind Runner. And throw the hook, Pudge. Oh, great tries, but unfortunately she's going to get out. She's got 1 health. There we go. Pudge Rot going to help get the pick on top of that. Actually, no, I take that back. That wasn't the Pudge Rot. That was just the Urn of Shadows, potentially the last tick.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So, very well played there. Fortunately, the Urn does get the last hit on top of that. 4 down on the side of the Dire. And I take it back. The Radiant are showing signs of life. They're continuing to show off exactly why they're in this game. Near 0 gold difference, but 10,000 gold experience difference. But that's mainly just because of the Meepo. We do have... What level is everybody? I take that back. It's just the entire Radiant side are absolutely taking off right now. Waiting for a little bit of action. The Pudge actually might get picked off very shortly.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Healing
attack.
himself back up. He's a very tanky Pudge. 3,500 health right now. I believe this is the highest level in the game right now. He sure is. While the... Come on, camera. Stop fighting me. Back up in the top lane. Just continue to push back. The Dire absolutely not
Radiant's
interested in
bottom
taking this tier
tower is
2.
under attack.
I pretty much feel like with the camera I have to click above the hero if I want to make it relevant. That's not an optimal circumstance. So, still messing with it. Oh, I need to get caffeine. This was not a smart choice. Either way, we do have one more game after this one, and I promise it's going to be more exciting than this one. It was an AD2L, or Amateur Dota 2 League tournament match. And it's going to have a little bit more fun to it than this match. So, I hope you'll stick with me after this game as I'm going to go get some caffeine. I'll definitely be casting at my top level. The matches are going to be cast at their top level, or played at their top level. So stick with me. We'll continue to have some fun. That being said, thank you for having fun with me today. I hope you're enjoying your Saturdays. And glad to have you. Either way, the Drow is going to continue pushing on top of the Zeus before the Slark is actually going to push back out the Drow. Sticker in place. Doesn't matter, as the rest of the entire Meepo lineup is getting completely blown up. No idea who's actually going to get picked off first, but it was completely unnecessary. Drow getting taken on by the Slark. Riki actually going to go ahead and get the kill on top of that one. 1-for-1 kill. Riki blowing up the Timbersaw. He's got himself a level 5 Dagon. That's going to... Oh, come on, camera. A Viper picking on this Pudge, and he's going to drop very shortly. He's going to try and suicide. Not going to happen, as we have a 2-for-2 on this being played on right now. Zeus trying to get away as best as he can. It's not going to work. Ultimate's going to be popped very shortly, slowed down in place. Pudge being getting the miraculous hook, pulling back out the Viper, and that's potentially going to help the Zeus get out of this fight. And a whiffed ultimate from the Ancient Apparition. It's probably time just to call it and get out of the fight. They want to get a kill out of this before they get picked off themselves, but it's not going to happen. Ancient Apparition get a pick, as well as the Windrunner is going to juke her way out of the Pudge hook. Oh, boy. We have 20 charges on the urn for this Pudge right now. Absolutely mind-boggling. And we finally have the hook coming in. Riki completely sniping out. Not to say I blame him. The Pudge has got so many kills to him right now that the gold needs to be dispersed a little better than that. Radiant doing great work, getting the pick on top. The Slark getting the pick on top of that. The Meepo getting the great little hook, nets on top of the Drow. That's an entire team wipe for another 20 seconds on the Dire side. Radiant want to push in this tier 2. If they can do it, there was a very badly played glyph from the Dire side. And that's going to be a tier 2 mid. Potentially even a tier 3, depending on how well the Radiant are able to push in this lane. They only have a Viper and an AA they have to deal with, but they're going to choose to take their steps back.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
As we do continue to see, back on the top lane, the Dire is pushing back in. So, overall, I would have to say more damage being done to the Radiant side, unfortunately. We have a 4,000... how big of a swing would I say this is? This is probably about a 5,000 gold swing and 20,000 XP lead going in for the Radiant right now. Back up here in the middle lane, we actually continue to see extra fighting. I need caffeine.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Completely unprofessional. I am very sorry about all the yawning and exhaustion right now. You'd think with the 10 hours of sleep I'd be getting lately, I wouldn't be so tired, but nothing's working. I will never be a professional caster. As much fun as that would be, my body is just too awkward and won't let it happen. Back up in the top lane, the Rikis continue to press in. Actually, no, the Slark wants to continue scouting out the rest of the Dire. They're looking for picks. They want to see if they can get... Well, the Meepo is still down. So at least they've got some smart little warding coming in. It's not going to get spotted whatsoever by the Radiant. They have absolutely no idea about this ward. And in fact, they're even going to spot this nice little Slark. See if they can get a pick. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch. Nonetheless, it's not like the Meepo or the Zeus are going to be able to contest it. Likewise, up in the top with the Zeus, he seems to be going for that refresher orb. So Viper going to go ahead and threaten back up in the top lane. Might even get the deny on the tower. Not choosing to get the deny. Very strange. As the Riki is going to go ahead and leave out of the lane. I am very surprised the Viper didn't choose to deny that tower. Continuing to fight back in the bottom lane, as the tier 2 bottom lane is going to be traded as well. So nice little system. At least each team got the kill out of, or the tower out of it. And I believe that is this is the very last tier 2 of the entire game. Nope, I knew I didn't. Why is the Riki picking up an the blade? I don't understand. Ethereal blade. I mean, just to accent the Dagon? This is such a weird, ridiculous build coming out from the Riki. But whatever. The Slark is continuing to try and get out, but he's going to get the kill on top of the Wind Ranger.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
I am so frustrated right now. I can't understand why I have to have an entire coffee and still be exhausted right now. It's no fun whatsoever. And it's hurting the quality of my casting for you guys, so I am very sorry. Viper going to go ahead and get picked off. 2 for 1, going in the favor of the Radiant. And the Zeus now has at least finished off his Timbersaw. Love that character. Always fun listening to him. Afraid of the trees. Either way. Thanks for sticking with me. I do see that I have 5 followers in Twitch right now. Love having you guys. Much appreciated. Thanks for coming over from Twitch. I'm glad the downvote fairies didn't scare you guys away. And we're going to have one more game casted today after this one. I'm going to go ahead and get some coffee after this match. So, however long this is going to take. Oh boy, we have about another 25 minutes coming into this. So after this game, going to get some coffee and wake myself back up for a nice, amazing little AD2L match after this one. Once again, my name is Ninja Chris. If you're enjoying how I'm casting, and I sure hope you do, I would love if you hit that little follow button at the below. If you don't, let me know. Tell me in Twitch, and let me know in Reddit. Whatever I can do to continue improving my casting. It's going to take me about a year or so until I can get to a higher quality of cast. So let me know what I can do for you guys. Either way. Oh, camera, quit fighting me. Rick is going to get the kill on top of the ancient apparition after the Pudge helps him out with it. And that's even going to be a Drow Ranger. So 3 down on the side of the Dire. Potentially a 4th if that Timbersaw is trying to pull himself out of the lane. But it's really not going to do a whole lot of good. Choosing to help him get back into the fight as the Wind Ranger drops down as well. So 4 down on the side of the Dire. If the Radiant ever choose to actually get some towers out of this, this could be an early set of racks.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And this might be an early pressed top lane. The Radiant absolutely want to see if they can get these picks out of it. The late game greedy lineup starting to pay off. Simply because of all the kills they were able to get out of this.
Dire's top tower is under
Creep
attack.
lane's absolutely melting, and this is going to be an early tier 3. Well, I shouldn't say early. Easy tier 3 is the word I was searching for. And they're going to continue picking on top of this Viper. He's going to drop down very quickly as well. Ancient Apparition ultimate coming to help slow him down, but he's going to get the kill on top of the Riki. Very smart plays. The rest of the Meepos are going to blow up on top of the Timbersaw. He's forced to back out as best as they can. Not before the Drow takes off as well. There goes the Meepo. He does have the ability to teleport himself back into this fight. He's got himself a nice little Reaver, but I don't know if he's actually going to go for a hard or not. Tier 3 does drop ultimately for a 3-for-3 trade. Take a look at the graphs. 10,000 gold on the side of the Radiant and 30,000 plus XP. Well played for the Radiant, but unfortunately, I just don't know what the Dire's are going to be able to do to get themselves out of the situation. 3,400 gold coming back in on the Zeus. Not sure why he hasn't finished off his refresher orb. We all know he's going to finish it off. How much gold does it cost on second thought? 1,800. So yeah, he could still do that and still have 1,600 gold in the bank. Either way, just waiting for some extra little action to happen. No wards really being placed on the entire map, with the exception of this one on the dire side. Potentially to spot out the Meepo as he continues to farm up. But whatever it is.
Double damage.
There we go. Windrunner actually picking up the DD rune in the top lane, dropping some extra wards, and there's the refresher from the Zeus. It is time to fight. Incoming, how much damage? Okay, so about 1,280 damage. And boy, oh boy, if he picked up an Aghanim Scepter, that would be one deadly Zeus. Nonetheless, they might catch this Riki. He wants to get that courier, but I don't think it's going to happen. He's going to catch 4 of the Dire up here in the top lane, and he's going to get caught out himself. No, he topped out the... Why would the Riki have the dust? But whatever. Completely showing off its position now. And he's continuing to pick on top of this Timbersaw and just harass him right back out of the lane. Oh boy. I promise you guys I don't normally cast this poorly. Nice little Shiva's Guard being picked up by the Timbersaw, so some great armor. Slow down potential, which is exactly what the Radiant need. Or Dire side, excuse me. Viper even getting the kill on top of the Riki. Finally having some sense to drop down a Sentry Ward and get that beautiful little pick. For the Dire, pushing back into the middle lane, while the rest of the Radiant completely spread out of place. All 5 ready to fight. They have really one opportunity until that... Oh, what are you doing, Pudge? I have no clue what's going on. Either way, the rest of the Dire are ready to take advantage of all the silly-goosey ridiculousness going on the Radiant side. The Meepo's really not... He's finally got the heart, but not sure exactly what else is going to happen in the middle lane. We're looking for hopefully going to get that tier 3. It is melting, absolutely. This might very well be the first out of the racks in the game. And if the rest of the Dire would just focus on it, they would finally get a prize. The Pudge actually getting the pick on top of the Drow Ranger. She's going to go down. Finish off the racks, guys. Not before. They're going to choose to continue picking on the Pudge, and they're going to get the kill on top of it. Fortunately, due to the AA ultimate. The Meepo's continuing to do work on top of this Ancient Apparition. Going to blow him up. 2 down on the side of the Dire. And they chose to run away without getting a single tower out of this. The Meepo, the Nets, are going to continue to work on top of the Viper and the Timbersaw.
Should do it again sometime.
I feel very sorry for the Dire who chose not to take advantage of what they had in taking on that Rax. They could have at least gotten a melee out of this right now. Windrunner getting the Monkey King bar. That's going to do some great job against... Isn't there a butterfly? Nope, no butterfly. Okay, take it back. I thought that was going to counter that, but I was absolutely wrong. 1,000 gold coming up on the Riki. He hasn't even finished off his boots yet. This is the absolute weirdest Riki I think I've ever seen in my life. Meepo finally picking up a nice little blink dagger. And we'll see some great fight potential. The Radiant more than capable of showing off how easily they can destroy the Dire. It's been very 50-50 right now. Even though we do have about 9,000 gold and 2,400 XP on the side of the Radiant. Oh, there we go. Drow had to pick up a Daedalus. Boy, oh boy, that's going to be a lot of fun just watching the Radiant melt if they can get through that. Nonetheless, Pudge using his boots of travel, jump into the top lane. Hashtag ChrisNeedsCaffeine. The rest of the Radiant, they want to see if they can get the early top racks before the Dire pick up the middle tier, the mid racks. And we do have some initiation on top of this Pudge. Okay, so no, excuse me, that was just the creeps after all. Not a whole lot else going on. The Meepo's potentially... No, I take that back. They're ready to jump back up to the top lane. And AA Ultimate coming in to start off the fight. We do have the Wind Ranger who's continued to pick on top of the Riki. Drops down the Sentry Ward, but he's going to get right out of range. It's going to force the Radiant back. Actually, they're going to find the Slark. They continue picking on him. He's going to melt very quickly, not before he drops his ultimate and gets himself out of these circumstances. And there he goes, 100 seconds out, as the Pudge stupidly puts himself up in the upper realm. He's going to TP home because he's just so tanky. 5,000 health. Absolutely mind-boggling right now. So many stacks. If he picked up a heart, wow, absolutely incredible. Nonetheless, Zeus going to pick off the Timbersaw as the rest of the Radiant are ready to continue fighting. Double ultimate being popped by the Zeus. Viper picking off the Meepo, 2 for 1, going 3 down on the side of the Radiant.
You weren't so damn dead, I'd shoot you again.
As the Riki gets a secondary kill out of this. So 3 for 2 after all, as the Pudge does return. Wow, what health. Absolutely mind-boggling.
Regeneration.
Dire continue to push back in the middle lane. Hopefully they'll actually get a set of racks out of it this time. We'll see what happens. The melee barracks have returned back into full health at this point. The Pudge going to try and get this Drow. Not going to work as he's going to continue to get picked off and silenced down. And that's one dead Pudge. Even with 5,000 health, he completely melted. And why wouldn't he? The Viper's just going to do so much damage. I don't know why you would silence a Viper. That's not going to do you a whole lot of good. And Viper, please, Windrunner, please take out the mid-racks for once. Glyph being forced to pop, but it's not going to do any good. 270 gold health left. And the Riki's just going to give himself away to that Viper. And we're still not going to get a racks out of it because they refuse to focus on it, choosing to go for kills instead. And that's ultimately going to mean that they're not going to get a single racks out of this. I don't know what to tell you guys. If they would at least just focus one time on a Rax, they would get the kill on it. But now that Rax is just going to go right back up to full health again. Once again, thanks for sticking with me through the day. My name is Ninja Chris. This is Ninja Chris Casts. I do a lot of Dota 2 cast it until I can actually continue to prove that I'm improve my skill as a caster, and until I hopefully one day get to go and do some amateur casting. But then we have days like this where my body just is absolutely exhausted for no reason whatsoever, and it's very difficult for me to cast properly. So hopefully I can do a better job for you next game and show you what I'm actually capable of doing instead of this absolutely pathetic. Either way, once again, I just apologize for the low quality of these casts today. I am normally much more capable than this. Pudge teleporting back into the middle lane as he takes a couple steps back. He wants to potentially gank this Drow Ranger, see if he can get a pick on him. And that they're going to walk right into his hands as he going to instead get the kill on top of the Timbersaw. Further aggression back into the bottom lane as two full sets of siege creeps are going to continue picking on top of this range. The mid-tier 3s, bottom tier 3s. Meepo's going to get the kill on top of the Windrender.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh boy, that was creepy. I don't know if you all heard about that. Meepo just now talking about how much he loves redheads, but whatever it is, or whatever. Back in the middle lane, we do have plenty of wards being spotted up on the, or placed down on the Dire side, and just ultimately waiting for one team to make one misstep, and that's going to be the end of it. Found a nice little DD rune in the bottom lane. Potentially Slark's going to get the pickup on it, but we'll see what happens. Actually, no. The Meepo's going to get the great little pickup, and if you don't know how the Meepo with the double damage works, they all get the double damage as long as they're within range of the certain range of the main Meepo picking it up. And they're going to go for the Roshan attempt. I would... oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy. He's got both a heart and a Reaver. So much damage coming in on top of him. And I just realized Heart of Tarrasques are not unique. So he could easily pick up a secondary Heart of Tarrasque. And absolutely amazing. I never even thought about that before. But we'll see what happens. And this is not smart. Not sure why Meepo is completely out of place like this. Maybe potentially looking for some extra creeps to blow up and continue pushing it against. We will see what happens, though. Waiting for one team or the other to make a mistake. It doesn't really seem to be happening. The entire Radiant lineup, with the exception of the... nope, I take it back. The Zeus or the Riki actually went to the mid lane. So I take it back. All while the rest of the Radiant, they're ready to sweep by. They want to see if they can get a tier 3 out of this one. They're going to push in the lane while the entire Dire are just too afraid to do anything right now. They're all pretty much back in base. Viper even picking up a nice little boots of travel just in case they need to get back out of the lane. And here comes the rotation back from the Dire side. The Windrunner and the Timbersaw potentially going to try and gank and juke around. We don't know if they're actually going to find anybody out of this. And the Meepos returned right back into the fight to help take out the Viper. 2 down on the side of the Dire. The rest of the Radiant ready to get pushing in. They're going to get an early set of racks out of this if they can actually just choose to fight over it. Either way, there goes the Riki taking out the Windrunner. 3 down. And this very well may be the bottom racks. Hopefully it is. Timbersaw not really going to be able to contest this whatsoever. Meepo doing a great job actually working on the racks for once. There it goes. Melee's down. Range is down. And we still even have another 40 seconds until the Drow returns back into the game. AA is going to drop down. And the only one that's left is the Timbersaw. That has got to be game. We have 30 seconds until solely the Drow returns into the game. Pushing the tier 4s and call the victory yours, Radiant. Well played.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And that is the game. 10 seconds till just the Drow. No one else going to be able to do anything to contest this. Whew. Once again, my name is Ninja Chris. This is Ninja Chris Casts. I will be back very shortly. I'm going to get some caffeine in me, and I promise you I will do a better job with this final game than what I've been doing so far. If there's anything I could do to improve... okay. I take it back. The Dire are... the Radiant are just I don't even know anymore. Strangely enough, the Radiant chose to take a step back, and now they're just giving themselves over to the Dire. They're continuing to play with the game. Popping it. I don't understand why people choose to do this. They had the game in the palm of their hand, but they're choosing to be jerks about it. So, whatever. Take your victory, guys.
Look who's
Quit punishing the Dire. There we go. Radiant ready to continue pushing in. Double Zeus ultimate. And really just going to not do a whole lot this much in the game. It is obviously going to continue to fall off. Ancient Apparition down. 3, 4 down, 5 down on the side of the Dire. There goes the Windrunner.
Middle tower is under attack.
And Radiant, come on, finish the game. You've got an entire 70 seconds until they're out of the game. Chris needs caffeine.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Waiting for the game to finish.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And there goes
Dire's middle barracks
final
has
Ancient.
fallen. Dire's middle barracks has fallen. Radiant
Sorry about the
victory.
ridiculousness. Alright, stick with me. We'll be back in just a few minutes. My name is Ninja Chris. This is yet another Ninja Chris Casts. I will be back very shortly with an AD2L Amateur Dota 2 League match that's going to surely be far more exciting than the last two games to put together. Thanks for sticking around. I'm much appreciated having you guys around. Let me know in Twitch what you think of me. If you like what I'm doing, follow me. If you don't like what I'm doing, let me know. I will do my best to try and fix it. Either way, like I said, we will be back momentarily for game number 3.